How many times have you stared at your DAW thinking to yourself, what is it going to take to break through to that next level of music production? How many times have you wondered, what techniques do you need to learn, or what synths do you need to buy to improve your sound palette so you can make music like the professionals do? But what if I told you the art of ambient isn't so much about the tools themselves, but it's the art of simplicity? Using simple tools and basic techniques can get you just as far or further than spending thousands of dollars on expensive hardware just to solve a problem that could be fixed with proven sound design concepts and basic production techniques. Would you believe me? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. I've got a brand new album out, which many of you haven't heard, so hopefully by the end of today's video, we're going to change all that. My new album, Edge of Eternity from Synphaera, is out now on Aura, our brand new subscription service on Bandcamp. Why a subscription? Because Aura is a collaboration between myself and my Synphaera and Exosphere co-founder, Don Tyler. We're building Aura as a place to get more of everything that we do outside of the work that we do on our labels, where you can support us for making the music that we work so hard to create and feel satisfied in knowing that you're getting the coolest and most underground music you won't hear anywhere else. When you subscribe to Aura, you get instant download access to all the albums that are available and get every album that's released on Aura in the future delivered right to your collection. So if you'd like to hear my new album, along with 9 other original and remastered classics, I'll leave the link down below in the description. As always, before we start, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you want exclusive content like the tutorial that you're about to see, make sure to check out my Patreon. I'll leave the link down below in the description for that as well. That being said, let's get into it. The Ambient Art of Simplicity track breakdown. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. What's up, guys? Chris here from Signs of Life. Back again with another ambient tutorial. In today's video, we are going to do a track breakdown. You know, I just released a new album this week. It's called Edge of Eternity from Synphaera, and I'm pretty excited about it. This album to me represents a huge leap forward in my production process. So I thought I would do a video to kind of commemorate the whole album experience and do a track breakdown and show you guys exactly how I went through my own personal process when approaching this kind of music. You know, I know it can be challenging when you're trying to, break through your own personal barriers or maybe even roadblocks, and you don't really know where to go next. So hopefully just by watching me kind of go through this track, and I'm going to break down each individual element one by one, it might help you, give you some insight into your own creative process, and then in turn, you can apply that to your own productions. All right, so we're gonna take a listen to the track here, listen to about 3 minutes of it, and then we're gonna go through, I have all the MIDI and all the audio here and all the automation that I went through. This is the final mix of this track. It's called Terraformation, and I'll leave the link to the album in the description of this video down below. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and then we're gonna talk about this track and break it down on the other side. Here we go. So as you can hear, by the time we get to 3 minutes, the track really starts to emerge, right? So I really like this track. And the reasons why I like it is because it really does kind of evoke this sense of environment and space. And that's what I was going for with this track. Like I said in the intro of this video, every single sound was started from an init patch. So let's go ahead and go through some of these sounds so you can better understand how this track was made. Now, starting here at the beginning, we have a couple pads here that kind of open it up. Nice soft pads. They're sort of playing off of each other. Somewhat in the same frequency range. Both of these pads here, this one is in Serum and this one is in Hive. So I use two different synthesizers with the same notes to kind of spread out the octaves. You can see here, this one is from my new upcoming sound set. This is called the Develop Plane. And this one was a nice, just kind of straight, I call it mid-range pad, right? Let's go ahead and listen to that. A little bit of sample and hold on the filter there for some interest. Right? And a little bit of sample and hold here on the quantize. That's coming from the Chaos modulator over here. Set to sample and hold, right? Little interesting things like that really do they kind of elevate the pad, if you will, and take just a boring kind of mellow pad sound, but I contrasted that with something in Hive here called Simplistic. Let's listen to that. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this over. Nice smooth pad, right? So those two pads combined give you a real sense of space, right? One supports the other, and the other one is kind of moving back and forth. And one of my favorite things to do in ambient is use sample and hold, because it's like almost like a cheat code. You know, like you pull frequency in and out. It gives it almost like this mechanical feel and really elevates the whole experience. So that's one of the tricks that I use when evoking environmental spaces, is I use sample and hold. Now, let's go ahead and keep going here. This one right here is called Geometric Dome. All right, so this one came in, and this came in about, maybe about 16 bars in. It was a very low pad. Almost like a sequence almost. And this was a straight one note pad in Hive again here. So let's go back here to Hive. Again, using random hold here and random glide together, okay? So random hold is taking care of the filter cutoff, and random glide here is moving the wavetable position, okay? So it's randomly moving the wavetable and then randomly moving the filter. Now, I consider this pretty basic, but the outcome, because there's a 24 dB filter, is pretty effective, right? Also, the other thing that you might notice is that instead of having a sub-oscillator, it's white noise, all right? So that white noise combined with the reverb of the track really does give you a sense of like, wow, there's like almost machinery, something happening like that. But when you contrast it to everything else, then you're in business, all right? So after that, we had another low bass patch called The Drill. I won't go into this too much. This is just kind of a basic thing in Serum, just straight sawtooth with a 24 low pass filter, sub oscillator here, and another oscillator to provide for some interest. This one has a unison of 2. I like to use 2 on basses because it kind of gives a subtle sense of movement. That's 2 waveforms pulling each other apart. So I'll go ahead and play that really quickly. This was good. You see how the slight detuning with just 2 voices on one single oscillator just provides a little bit of extra movement, right? And combine that with the motion of the wavetable. It's a nice effect. Add a little bit of reverb to taste. You're in business, all right? So this is the one thing I really want to talk about. This is just a KULT patch that I made. I gave these out on Patreon. So if you want to get some of these patches, I took all the patches that I used on this record and I put them on Patreon this week. So if you want to go grab those, go right ahead. You got to join the Patreon. So check this out. This is the one thing I want to talk about here. What is this patch, right? Where did these sounds come from? Oh, God, it's so good. I'd say the core of this record was 3 synthesizers. It was Serum, Hive 2, and KULT. KULT was that like extra magic that I needed to really push myself through this record. So this patch in KULT, I want to break it down. It's just really simple. It's called Star Scatter. It's available now on Patreon. So as you can see, these steps are randomly hitting this oscillator at a certain time. So is the random, right? So the random is affecting the filter, and the steps right here is affecting the gain of this oscillator. So it's almost like you get this deep gong, like it sounds very FM, right? Let's go over here to the oscillators. Yep, this one's pitched up, right? Oh gosh. It's almost like a crow patch almost, right? So like it really evokes that sense of like, where is that coming from? It's almost sorcery in a way, right? And so during the creation of this record, that's really what I leaned on. I leaned on KULT for those types of sound, and KULT provides that. It's such a magical synthesizer. I'll leave the link for it down below in the description. It's a really great synth, and I use it all over this record. So let's continue on. I'm gonna go ahead and unsolo this, and let's go ahead and move into this section of the track. So again, we have the KULT patch, the Hive patch over here, and now let's get into the automation. So you can see these are my automation lines, right? Right, and in comes that sequence. Now, where did this sequence come from? Number one, Stepic. Let's open Stepic. Basic sequence in Stepic, not that complicated. It was really simple. But in Serum, you can see that this Serum patch is more than simple, okay? We've got a white noise happening over here, right? That's fading in and out. I love that effect, right? The filter is moving back and forth through the use of sample and hold. But it almost sounds like a hi-hat, almost, but it's skipping, right? Remind me to save this patch when I'm done. It's still in the init state. I'll have to save this for ancient technology too. Yeah, so this one was really awesome because this was like almost like the centerpiece. Now, again, these notes are not very complicated, all right? So let's go ahead and look at the notes here. Randomized velocity, obviously, but I only picked a couple notes in the octave scale to really give it a sense like, okay, it's not moving very far, but I just wanted that little bit of extra like sequence to kind of give it that minimal feel, right? So when it finally comes in, it fades in here. That KULT is still supporting it back there in the back, giving that sense of environment, like you're in a space. And then the musicality comes in, right? Love it. Now, another patch here that comes in at bar 41 is fluctuations. Okay, a nice floating pad, right? In Serum, okay, let's look at this. 12 dB filter, right? For a nice lead sound. Let's go ahead and break this down. Okay, little vibrato here, coming from an LFO. Quicker attack than normal, 3 seconds on the attack, which can give you that soaring kind of string-like lead, right? A little bit of filter movement here with the actual amp envelope, right? Nothing too complicated, just a sawtooth, a triangle sub-oscillator, and a wavetable. But sometimes that's all you need just to make that sound, right? Lots of reverb, lots of delay, but longer notes. See? It's the sum of its parts, right? Like everything together, you can sort of start to paint the picture now, right? And when you see it broken down like this, I think it's kind of helpful, right? So, okay, we have another sequence that comes in here called overdrive. Let's go ahead and look at this. Again, Stepic comes to the rescue here. Simple notes, very simple. Love Stepic. Link down below. It's just such a great tool. It's my favorite step sequencer ever. So now we have Serum here. Again, another Serum pluck, right? Let's go ahead and listen to this, solo it out. Yes. So this is interesting. So every time another note happens, envelope 1, which is the amp envelope, is now triggering this distortion mode right here. It's triggering the filter. But combine that with a bunch of delay, right? I have Timeless 3 over here and Valhalla delay. That's what you're getting. Always use 24 on your plucks. Right? I probably could have moved this wavetable here for a little bit of extra effect. Now you hear that in the background? It's very subtle. I will in the final patch. Okay? So you see how it all comes together now? Right? Let's look at the automation lines. So now, coming from where we were, we peaked here early. But as you can see, things are gonna start to drop out. Now, this is something that I think you could really take a mental note on. Is like, okay, now that we've built all these things up, like how do these tracks really come together in the mixing stage? Because this, as I said, this is the final mix of this track. So listen to this. You enter a different space here. When things start to fade out and you build up this many layers, then you can start pulling away. Let's listen to this. Because remember, we still have that fluctuations track. We still have this track over here, but listen. When these sequences and this bass line starts to fade away, that KULT patch starts to come forward. And by the time you reach here, you're in a completely different space. It's contrast, right? Yes. That's what I'm talking about. So at that moment, when all of these things were starting to fade away, I brought in another sequence. This is called Hive Mind. Let's go ahead and solo this. Simple, right? The essence of what we're doing here. Just simplicity through movement. It's just a pluck, just a sawtooth. Sawtooth science, I call it, right? With an ever slow moving filter, right? But it's just enough. It's just enough to contrast the rest of it. Right? Because as these other things are fading away, Hive Mind is holding steady and it's all gonna come back. Check it out. See? Then you get that real deep, bassy boom of that KULT patch. Like, where is it? It's a canvas. I'm painting on it. And you're listening in real time. Now, a new texture emerges here. Listen. Yes, the oracle. Right here. Where's that coming from? It's coming from Serum, okay? One thing I love to do in Serum is create these like really dirty, almost gong-like FM patches. As you can see, FM from B, which really takes this normal, oscillator that's found in I think this is in the digital section, ethos, right? It takes it into another space. You can hear there's so much frequency being added to that. This is one of my custom wavetables here, which is being injected, I call it, into ethos. And combine that with a 24 filter, just 2 notes, right? 2 notes, okay? 2 octaves. But listen, it provides a texture that's not really in the track yet. Listen. Okay. Quick attack, 6-second decay time. Nothing crazy. Pick the right octave, you're in business. Remember, it's not true FM, but it sounds pretty good. And now everything's starting to come back, right? Now we're starting to crawl out from the depths. This is what I'm talking about. I love it. And this is my process, right? So in this video, I just wanted to share with you guys and give you a glimpse on how this stuff is created, because in the end, it really comes down to you and your own personal aesthetic taste and how you put these sounds together. But as a beginner or somebody who's just starting on your path, I know how hard this can be. But to see someone else do it and say to yourself, I can do that, to give you the confidence and the inspiration to go ahead and just make something out of nothing. Because that's where this album started. This album started from nothing. It was a blank canvas. It was a blank space. It was complete silence. And I filled it with my own personal take on what my music is, my own musicality, with the technical knowledge and skill to get there. One last touch. A little piece here called Lead Infinite. That's it. It just adds that little bit of extra drama right at the end. Just a couple more notes. The artist's signature, if you will. Anyway. Thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. Sharing things like this is my passion. Helping you get better in any possible way that I can is my mission. And when you guys appreciate it, my heart is filled with gratitude. What else can I say? If you want to learn more, come check me out on Patreon. We do tutorials like this every single week. We have a wonderful community there. We have tons of ambient presets you can just download immediately. I do one-on-one ambient coaching and so much more. I'd love to see you over there. Link will be down below in the description. Keep creating, never stop. And as always, keep your heads in the clouds and your feet planted firmly on the ground. My name is Chris from Signs of Life. I'll see you guys in the next one.